Don't know why I do this. Why? And now nobody's here because they probably think that I'm on the other one or waiting for me over there or something. Oh, Stanifer found me. Fuck YouTube. I hate you so much. So much. Your face is garbage? Question mark. Yeah. I want to stab. I want to stab somebody at YouTube. I'm not a violent person. But there was nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong. They just decided to just make changes. Make changes. Like, what even was that? Like, what did you guys see when I was trying to make that work over there? Was and what, like, why did it do that? I'm gonna watch that back. I'm gonna leave it on my channel until it processes and I can watch it. I see. I was scrolling YouTube and I was a tiny bubble, so I was essentially screen sharing by default for some reason because I like would never pick that as like. It did tell me this time, unlike the last time it did it. It did tell me, oh, default setting is now vertical video. You can change this video, or you can change this in your advanced settings tab on the setup screen. After I had gone through all of the setup and like set the stream to go, and I went to go live, and it was like, oh, by the way, it's defaulted to vertical video, and I was like, no, thank you. I'll go back into options, change it to horizontal, and then I went go, and then it came up, and I was a little bubble. So does it also default to screen share and didn't tell me that? Because it didn't this time. I was late, so I didn't see anything. I mean, yeah, I saw what everyone else saw. Yeah. Oh, tardy. In any case, we're here, and I don't have to quit YouTube yet. If they keep doing nothing but piss me off, I am absolutely gonna quit YouTube because it's not worth the frustration. And is your goal just to like make your users look incompetent? Because that's what happens when you start changing shit. We're all just like flying by the seat of our pants going, I wonder what's different now. Unless you have a team who knows what's going on. Yeah, where's my team? Who knows what's going on? And can give me the lowdown. Anyway. Saw a thing, oh, I don't know, a couple of years ago now. One of those, not a meme, but it might as well be a meme, goes through on one of your social media pages. It was like, I don't know, if you had $36,800 in the bank, or if you had $36,800 and somebody stole 10 of them, would you just burn the other 300 and however $36,000? No, you wouldn't. That's what happens when somebody steals 10 seconds from you and you let it ruin the rest of your day. Hey, that's pretty good. I like that. Don't let a stolen 10 seconds ruin the rest of your 36,000 seconds that you've got in a day, or whatever the numbers were. Well, somebody fact check me. How many? I'm not a math guy. How many seconds are in a day? It's got to be like more than 36,000 seconds. That sounds low, but you get my point, right? I'm gonna try not to let that 7 minutes of frustration and anger wreck the rest of my day. I mean, try not to. Padel's got the math. 526 to 525,600 minutes. Yeah. So don't let a few of your seconds ruin all the rest of them. So I am going to try not to let the 7 minutes that YouTube just stole from me ruin the rest of my day. It was quite, I felt my blood pressure going up though. And you never know at my age, my lifestyle, YouTube could have just YouTube might have just killed me. It's possible that YouTube tried to kill me just now. You guys see that? YouTube tried to murder me by heart attack. This is only one thumb. There were more thumbs on the one that wasn't working than there are on this one that's working. Maybe because people were like, look at him, he's pissed off. I like this. We're not going to let that ruin our day. We're going to hang out. We're going to enjoy each other's company. We're going to go through my old sketchbook. That'll be fun. I don't know. Probably not. You probably won't even see. Like, I don't even know if you guys can see. Oh, it's not too bad. Not too bad on my end anyway. I don't know if it's coming through for you guys. The sketches that are in my sketchbook. I was cleaning up the shop with my buddy Mikey B on Monday. Something like that. And nope, wasn't Monday. Doesn't matter. One day this week, Mike was over and we were picking away at cleaning some stuff in the shop. And I found my old sketchbook. And I was just kind of flipping. It's been gone for a while, and it was relatively new, so there's not a ton in it. But I thought it would be cool to like look at some of what I did in it, and see if there was anything worth pursuing going forward. Maybe talk about what you guys like in a sketchbook, what I like in a sketchbook. If you guys have thoughts on that, or if you need thoughts on that, or whatever, talk about, maybe we could get into like the design process and how sketching plays into that. I don't know. We use the sketchbook as the jumping off point for the night. After I have another beer and just settle down a little bit. How's everybody doing this week? 9,986,000 minutes. That's how many minutes that I work here. Is that really? How do you find that number? It's like how many minutes I have done on YouTube? How do you find that number? Is that just live minutes, or is that like total video footage minutes? Or I'm almost at 10 million minutes on YouTube? Or are you just making up a number? Because that wouldn't surprise me at all. No, the episode that Michael Scott left. Oh, I thought maybe that you could find out like how many total minutes worth of time I have in terms of footage on YouTube. Because you have access to all my analytics. It's working now. Yeah, it's working now. I'm pissed off about it. Still only 2 thumbs. Guess I need to get angry again. Brrr, YouTube. It defaults to vertical now, so I have to change that every damn time. Also, sometimes for no reason defaults to screen sharing. What's that? Misfit is back. Look at that. How you doing, my friend? It's been a while. It's been a while since I something in your face. It's been a while. Is that Nickelback? Am I singing Nickelback right now? Who is that? Or like Stained or somebody? I don't know who that is. What's up with YouTube that it went wrong like that? Well, they decided to innovate again and just change the back end system and add functionality or whatever. And I think it's Stained. Probably, I don't know, maybe it is. Amy says it's Stained. Yeah. So it might as well have been Nickelback. Oh! Stained burn. I had tickets to see Stained and Godsmack, but they canceled. That's unfortunate, I guess. Did you get a refund? Good evening. Got anything planned? Dances with Aardvarks. We're gonna talk about sketchbooks and what I've got in my sketchbook that I just found that I'd lost for a while here in my shop. I could go through some of my old sketches and see if there's anything worth looking at in terms of moving forward with it. Talk about what you guys like in sketchbooks. If you have sketchbook specs that you like. Maybe get into the design process a little bit and how sketching plays into my design process. We'll have some beer. We'll rant about YouTube being shitty. Misfit's a graph paper guy. I understand graph paper because it's a structure that you can work with and use in terms of ratios and stuff, which I think would be cool. I don't like it. I've tried it a little bit and I find it a little too prescriptive. Like you almost want to not draw a knot on one of those lines, and I don't like having things be that prescriptive to me. I like the sketchbooks where the spine does not get in your way. Spiral bound bothers me, and so do stiff. I was gonna say I like spiral bound because it allows it to lay flat. I don't like I need my sketchbook to be able to lay flat. So if you have a sketchbook that like the pages do this in the middle, it really bothers me. I Misfit's got a good point. Spiral is bad for left-handers. I guess running into the coil wouldn't be great. Yeah, we flip them upside down. Just use the back of all the pages. Use the back of the page instead of the front of the page. The back of the page becomes the front. There's your solution. You just use the back of the page is now the front of your page so that you're writing towards the spiral. My biggest thing is that it needs to sit flat. It can't go like this in the middle. Don't use a sketchbook since I can't draw well enough for a sketch to be recognizable. How do you design projects? Do you do them digitally? You use like SketchUp and stuff? Or do you not design your things? You just like we're like, let's see what happens. Because there's fun in that. That's fun. There are some times where the entire design is up here and I go like, it's got to be about that big. Let's start cutting. Beer. But sometimes I have sort of a general idea, and I like the spiral at the top of the notepad would be good. Turn it sideways. And then the spirals at the top. That's good. I like that. But like there's some times where I've got a thing in my head, and before I spend hundreds of dollars on wood and a bunch of my time to make it, I want to at least get a more concrete visual of it. Like I've designed some things in my head and then put them down on paper and been like, that actually looks really, really bad. Don't make that. So I'm glad that I didn't just start making that and then look at it afterwards and be like, wow, that is not an attractive piece of furniture. How many iterations of a design do you draw before it's good enough to make it from? Until it's good enough to make. There's no. Sometimes there's one. Sometimes I draw it down on paper and I go, yep, that'll work. Well, sometimes let's have a look at some of the pages. This is the first page of my old sketchbook, which is actually my current sketchbook because I didn't really get that far in. The first page, I was clearly working on, I want to say like a sofa table idea. This is, because that's not coffee table. That's higher than a coffee table. I want to say maybe it was just random, like, some things with furniture with curved legs. Or no, that one doesn't. But this actually, I drew, and then I was like, boom, that's going to be my sofa table. And then I actually made that sofa table. My first drawing in this sketchbook was this table. And I looked at it and I said, I like that enough to make it. And I did. It's actually in my front hallway right now. There's a video on my channel of me making this sofa table out of a big 1-inch slab of like maple, figurity-ish maple stuff. And some sapele legs and styles. That lives in my house. I made that table. This is maybe some kind of sideboard type situation. I've got some drawers across here. I don't hate that. This I don't like at all. It's kind of like a raised cabinet on stand table thing that, I mean, is neat as an idea. It would look, the idea I like, sort of like a floating cabinet over the top of a base. with drawers come out of it as a tabletop. It certainly needs refinement before I would make that. It might just be, honestly, looking at it now, it might just be that these legs are too chunky. If I like slimmed up these legs a little bit so that they didn't have so much visual pull, that might be, that's got promise, I think, maybe. Page 2 is just a random like abstracted tree with some shading stuff around it. Page 3 must have been when something was on fire. It looks like it was probably fire season. This might have been the year that Fort McMurray had their big fires, and I have friends that live up there, and they got evacuated, and I hadn't heard anything from them. That might be when this was from. It's a kind of another thing, artsy thing happening there. Because sketchbook, I mean, it's a sketchbook. Sometimes there's going to be sketches. Sometimes there's going to be, well, it's always going to be sketches. Sometimes there'll be some random poetry or something in here. Then we got, looks like wall cabinets. That one might be like a standing cabinet. Like, got a page of, that's almost certainly a wall cabinet. Got that one too. Yeah, that's probably a wall cabinet. It's got some interesting lines in it that I don't hate. These might be a little emphasize the angles a little too much, but I like the curved rails in the doors. That's a cool idea. I did that one on the bottom here, and then I had maybe this was going to be the drawer fronts were going to be two different woods with a curve going through it that's mimicked in the door rails. I don't know, there's some cool ideas here. Now that one is on a base, like lifted up on a base of some kind. That's got a cool thing going through it. See, it's just like coming up with like fun ideas and then see if they work visually, and picking out the ones that do and then moving on to another thing. So like obviously this progression, I did this one with like curvy styles that are echoed in the drawer fronts, and then that became like, well, what if I do curved styles on the top and the bottom, and then have like a curve that comes like that on like a top and a bottom of the whole case thing. And then that turned into like, well, what if I put it on a base and then have, so it's iterations. Maybe none of them ever get built, but it's design ideas that I was exploring at the time. This page looks like little desktop chest, little sort of desktop box with drawers and stuff in it. Go through a progression here too. We got just straightforward box with cubbies and or would have been drawers. Well, let's take some of that curvy stuff we were talking about earlier and do something in it. Well, let's actually put some drawers in it and put it on a curvy bottom base thing with a lift. So it's like a floaty case on a base. Now let's do an offset top set of drawers on that base. See if I like that look better, instead of like, well, one bigger, one smaller, as opposed to what that's supposed to be centered probably. And then that bottom one gets a little bit wonky because now it's got legs on it. I don't know. I'm not sure what's happening there. But obviously that was a design progression, like simple, little more complicated, little more complicated. Let's put it on let's separate some things a little differently, and then it goes into a weird thing at the bottom. None of that's getting made probably. Even though I kind of do like whatever this was going to do, where I had a design coming from the drawers up into the top. There is a nice idea. It's a nice concept, I think, to work with. I don't know. Sorry, I'm not actually watching what you guys are doing. Has a Charles Lindbergh vibe to it. See, I don't know what we're talking about because I missed when you said that. Instead of two woods, make it two different heights of the same wood. Yeah, okay, so we're back here with the drawer fronts. So they just have like a step kind of thing in the middle of it. That's an idea. Have the just route away or like carve away a bunch of the material so it's got that curve in it. Make drawer front a little thicker and have a recessed part. I like that. Now we're back to beer. Damn. Hold on. Time out. I have not drank enough for that to be happening. Like a third of a beer all over my workbench. It's a workbench. Okay. The evolution of the river table, the river drawer front. We were talking about Jack's, was it last week? He's got a river, like an epoxy river drawer front table in his shop. It's his assembly table, or he did epoxy river drawer fronts for it. Like an idiot. Now this is going to be all flat. No, it's okay. Okay, next page. We've got another one of these. I don't know, what was my... So back here, I've got these things. I don't know, I can't... In my head, it's got to be like a desktop. Maybe organizer for little paper clips and stuff. Like I would never make something like that as a full-size piece of furniture. So maybe like a desktop organizer with little drawers and stuff in it. But now, this looks more to me like a coffee table. But why would I have that many drawers in a coffee table? Maybe this is just a continued evolution of that last thing. But now my base has little feet. But then we're hearkening back to the sofa table, and instead of a curvy style or a curvy rail, I'm going to put drawers in it, maybe? And then we've got essentially the Unity coffee table in a sofa table format. So it doesn't have the bottom half or the bottom side. But that is essentially the Unity coffee table as a sofa table or a hall table. I actually quite like that. I think that would be an attractive piece of furniture. You think about that one, because that would be a cool piece of furniture. Then we've got a poem or maybe it was going to be song lyrics. Certainly not going to read that out loud because that was probably just me sitting here drunk in my shop, probably feeling sorry for myself about something. Yep. I was absolutely like drunk in my shop feeling sorry for myself. Or, yeah, reminiscing about something. We got tool cabinets. Look at this. It's gonna have some saws in the middle bit and some measuring tools over here on the outsides. Those would be doors that would come and close in the middle. The concept for like a tool cabinet thing. This is obviously a plain till with some drawers and doors that probably have recessed panels like these ones that close up and they can put stuff in there. That's a pretty attractive plain till, actually. Now we've got, hey, I made that too. This is, okay, so this is an expansion on, go back. The Unity sofa table thing. Then its next iteration turned into that with a lower rail and like a small platform deal in the middle as a sofa table. That's kind of neat too. I think I like that better. And this one, I even labeled like joinery. I've got a angled bridle joint. I've got a half lap in here. I've got, yeah, bridle joints and half laps. This actually became a table. Kind of. I mathed badly when I was doing this. And it has a little sort of platform thing in between the base and the top. What did that one get? It was I was reusing an old white quarter-sawn white oak tabletop that I smollened down and made this kind of a base for it. Like some angled bridle joints for the first time and stuff. I don't remember what that video is called. But that table exists in my house. If I had an assistant, he could maybe put links in the chat room that aren't just teriyaki pork chops of these videos that I've been talking about. Panel, you know the table I'm talking about, the round-topped UFO-looking quarter-sawn white oak tabletop thing. Just gonna put a link to teriyaki pork chops. Yeah, but that one actually exists. This is a cool page. I think this is the one that's in the thumbnail. This one, question mark? I don't know. Maybe. Probably not. That's probably teriyaki pork chops. Somebody click it and let me know. It was a fun project. There was a bunch of firsts. It's pork chops. Yeah, okay. This is a cool page. I like all three of the things on this page. Like, I think would turn into attractive pieces of furniture. This guy. So they're all wall cabinets. This guy's cool. What would it be called? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what it would be called. The thumbnail would be a quarter-sawn white oak circular tabletop, or the side view of a thing that looks like this sitting on top of my table saw, maybe might be the thumbnail. Japanese rice paper. In these were going to be panels that I was going to do like an inlaid branch that travels between one door and the other door with some little like inlaid leaves coming off of it. And then big door, little door over big drawer, little drawer, I thought was an interesting aesthetic. Which then became this guy, which is the same, obviously a bigger cabinet, but it's still big drawer, smaller drawer, offset with the doors, and then the inlay thing going across that. Make the branch and use rice paper behind it. But it's actually a pretty cool idea. So that would be an actual branch that goes from one door to the next, and then yeah, rice paper behind it. That's a pretty cool idea, actually. Which then, I don't know, where did this come from? Out of nowhere. Like extending the bits outwards of the sides. That's pretty attractive thing. Wish these doors were actually the same size in this one. They were probably supposed to be. And then the off center, big drawer, little drawer. Big drawer, little drawer is like kind of my thing in all of my wall cabinets. Making the Walnut and Nara Unity coffee table. Nope, different coffee table. I have done at least 3, probably 4 coffee table build videos. Gonna have to make it early night. All right, later, Kapla. Pork chops, colon. So he's announcing it's pork chops, so it probably isn't. That is a very nice coffee table, by the way. Which one? The Unity? Yeah, Walnut and Nara Unity coffee table is probably my best coffee table. Yeah, that one is a very, very sexy piece of furniture. I can actually, if these doors were the same size, I think I would like this wall cabinet quite a lot. It's like wall cabinet and shelves. I like that a fair bit. What is this page? It's cabinet on stand page. I think I'm going back to my little feet. Going back to my little feet bases and my like floating, like the Unity coffee table with the floating tops. These are like floating cabinet on bases in different designs. This is way too symmetrical for me. So this goes back to kind of my aesthetic with the off-center bits. That's getting more complicated. It's got some doors in it. Those rails and stiles are way too thick. Similar idea though. And then this guy, oh yeah, see, I was like, wow, those rails and stiles are way too thick. Let's make them nice and thin in the doors. And now I'm back to this curvy base thing. That's, I think, the most successful of the designs on this page. This I don't mind. Yeah. I don't think any of the designs on this page are particularly successful. But you can see the iteration of things, right? Like you can watch me walk from here to here to here to here to here. You can like literally see the progression of how I worked through the design and didn't get somewhere necessarily better, but I got somewhere else. And there are aspects of it that are better. Maybe this on this stand. Should have done one more iteration down here. Okay, now now I'm back here. Now I'm back with this guy. Now I'm exploring this idea on a fresh page. So I've got here, and now I'm finding some different dynamics, maybe one long and a short and a big. Maybe, oh, we got some of this two-tone or curvy thing through the doors. We've got doors in the top, drawers in the bottom. That's all right. I think I like it squatter and long and squat. I think is a more successful design than this. But I like this thing going through here. There's some facet of this wall unit that's probably going to exist at some point, because apparently I was stuck on there for a while. That's tripping hazard. It's up on it's like 5 feet up on a wall. But where tripping hazard for your cat, maybe, if he's jumping up on it. Unless it's on the walls. Yeah, it's a wall shelf. It absolutely, if that was a table, that would absolutely, this would not be a good idea. It's a good point. If that was a coffee table, that would not be great. You're right. Amy might have weird walking habits. Maybe she walks maybe up on the side of the wall. You wouldn't want this piece of furniture anywhere where you were walking. She's right about that. Now I'm back to wall cabinets again. I do really like designing wall cabinets. So I've got this guy, two tall skinny doors, big drawer, wavy thing, and then sort of normal sort of ratioed doors over top of the drawer, long, tall, skinny outsides. Then I've gone drawer, and then a drawer in here, and then two little guys with two big guys outside. That's not bad. I think I want this drawer to be a little narrow, little squatter. I think it's coming up a little too high into there, but that's a good idea. I like that. Oh, that's what I've done. So again, I looked at this and I was like, what if that drawer was a little bit skinnier? Okay, let's make it a little bit skinnier. So this is essentially that with a skinnier middle drawer right in through here. I actually kind of like that. Looking at it as a wall cabinet, that's pretty attractive. And then what if I did the branch inlay in through there on the door fronts? That's got promise. Okay, now I've got, this is a weird page, because I've got that same table again from way back at the beginning that I actually made. That video, I think, might have been called like coffee table with a maple slab top, or a sofa table with a maple slab top. or something like that. Using a maple slab top for a sofa table. Don't know. He's gonna put pork chops in the chat anyway. I don't care for this very much. Like 2 drawers and then cubby. This doesn't even have a door on it. 2 drawers cubby, doors in the middle. And these are like flat doors. They don't have any rails or stiles or anything. At least this guy, rails and stiles and then slide. This is the, no. This is just a page of no. Not really. But sometimes you gotta just jot things down to find out. Nope. Don't know what this is about. Yeah. This is when I met some local woodworkers on the Instagram, and we got to talking about maybe we should have like a local woodworking guild. If there's gonna be like, if there's 5 or 6 of us, there's gotta be a dozen of us. Maybe we should make a local woodworking guild. So this was like ideas for like what would a woodworking guild in our area look like. So if there's shop hangouts, could we organize some discounts with local companies for guild members? We could offer like a mentorship program. We could put on a gallery exhibition somewhere with all of our work. Should we make it a nonprofit society? Start ourselves a nonprofit society? Could we get city grants? Should we go through the Economic Development Corporation in town? Yeah. It's just notes for what if we wanted to start a guild. More wall cabinets. This one I kind of like. This is so drawers across the bottom, full doors, cabinet there, little ones above cubbies. That's interesting. That's interesting. And then what? And then this one is what if we move the cubbies to the top and then do some kind of like decorative bit on the door panel. I think I like this one better. And then this one's the same kind of thing as before, like these rails and stiles on these doors are just way too big and it makes the whole thing unattractive. Is this fun for anybody? Should I keep doing this? I don't have a ton more pages probably. Let's flip to something interesting. See, there's an example. Somebody asked earlier, like, how many design iterations does it take before you make something? Sometimes 1. This was the first design that I did of the front face of my tool cabinet, which is right here. Like, there's my little walnut drawer right there. Sometimes 1. This, we're almost done. I think this is the last thing in here. This is my guitar. This is Dawn. This was the design process for Dawn. This headstock iterations. I started with this. I went to that. I went to that. I ended up with that. This was the idea for the carved away the top just kind of carved away in different amounts to reveal the wood underneath which is what happened. That's a 5-part video series that's in a playlist. There's a playlist of all 5 parts of that video series that my friend Pinnell is going to put a link to in the chat room. Send you straight to teriyaki pork chops. This is the fret spacing on that guitar. This is the first fret is here, second fret. These are the measurements, the distances between the frets. This is a 628.65 millimeter fret scale. 628.65 millimeters. And then this is the design of the inlay. This is the progression of the design for the inlay on the 12th fret for that guitar. Started here, got a little taller and skinnier, got a little long. You did the long side on the opposite side of the M, and then it turned into that, which then turned into that, I think, was the final one. And that's it. That's where this book ended. That's where I ended up losing this book at that point, which would have been, when was Dawn? Was it the 2020 Great Guitar Build-Off? Was it? Because I skipped. No, maybe it was the 2021 Great Guitar Build-Off. So this book has been missing for at least 2 years, let's say. I can start doing sketches in it again. It makes it design some more wall cabinets. It's very it's pretty overrun with wall cabinets. I do enjoy making wall cabinets and designing wall cabinets. And there are a lot of design ideas in here that I can take and apply and move forward and find some more designs that I might like to actually pursue. Definitely not pork chops. Oh, that one actually has youtube.com/playlist in it. So yeah, that is definitely not pork chops. That's probably the guitar. Good grief, I would have just used a fret scale and saved myself the math. Yeah, but fret scales aren't free. That math was free. Now, since I did that, I have learned about the websites where you just plug in your scale length and your number of frets and it just spits out the numbers at you. And even you can print them out on a template to glue down to your fretboard and just cut on the lines. That was fun when my boy Tyler Peterson informed me of this website that you could just put the numbers in and it gives you a template. That's what I did on the fretboard that I have cut for one of the 3 guitars that I'm working on right now. I literally just printed it out on a sheet of paper from that website, just glued it down to the fretboard and cut on the lines. We did it here live on the show. Math is never free, sir. It's true. Financially free. It did not cost me any money. And that's literally, that was math. That was like, there is a ratio that you're like, you take the remaining length and you divide by 68.7521 or some number, and you get the next scale. You subtract it from what you had before, and now you had a new total length, and you divide it by that same number. See if I actually wrote that information down so that I could hypothetically do it again if I wanted to. Nope, sure didn't. But if I start with my nut at 35.28. What? 35.28 inches from what? I don't understand this column. This 35.28 and then 33.30 and then 31.43, which gives me a remainder of, well, no, a new total of 68.59, then 100.02. Oh, that's the number of millimeters between the frets. Millimeters. There we go. 35.28 is the total length. And then if I add 33 millimeters, 33.3 millimeters at the second fret, I don't remember. I knew what I was doing at the time, I think. It sounds okay. I cut the frets in approximately the right locations because it sounds okay. It's got to be the number of millimeters for that fret. Because now that I'm down at 12, my fret is at 18.69 millimeters from the 11th fret, which in my head looks about right. So that must be how that went. Which gives me that new number, which I then divide by the factor that goes into the division all the time. This is my yes. Okay. I got it, I think. It worked. My whatever system this was worked out. Because the guitar sounds okay. Sounds even better when somebody else is playing it. Like, I had some actual guitar players play it, and it sounds pretty good. Check out this chunk of elm. Beauty straight grain, like fault-free block of elm. About 5 inches, 5 by 5 and a bit by 10 and a half. Chunk of elm. I was down at the store that I get turning blanks and stuff from. And it was just sitting there, and $19. I'm like, sure. Because it was pretty. And I was like, I can figure out something to do with that for $20. My first thought was giant chalice. Giant chalice that holds like 3 beer. Big handle right here, and on the bottom, and just like big. Five-inch diameter chalice, like that deep. Was my first thought. But who knows? Carve an owl on it. Not much of a carver. I mean, I could try. I don't think carving is one of those things that I'm not sure that I would enjoy. Like, I'm not a finicky detail kind of dude. No, I think that's accurate. And I'm not sure elm would be your best place to start if you wanted to venture into carving an owl. Wouldn't be the worst place, but it certainly wouldn't be your best place to start, I don't think. based on the properties that I know about elm and what I would picture you would want in a carving wood. So, does anybody else rock a sketchbook and like has a whack of drawings of stuff that they may or may not ever make? And you can actually like see the progression of things. That's what I like best about the sketchbook. Is I like on some of these pages I can like see, okay, you started here, you went to here, you added this, you took this away because you didn't like that. There are a few pages where I was like, yeah, I can see this to this to this to this. That's a pretty cool drawing too. I like it with the trees, the fire, and then nothing. Now that I'm done my beer that I spilled a bunch of, I'm gonna go get another one. And we'll keep hanging out as long as people actually want to hang out. You guys aren't very talkative tonight. Not very talkative tonight, you guys. I used to have a couple of sketchbooks, but after one of my moves, I lost them as well as some other stuff. You would go buy a new sketchbook. I mean, if you didn't enjoy using a sketchbook, then don't. But I think it's super. I missed having it around. Because I would always like I'd do a little sketch on a piece of like printer paper or whatever, on it and put it on a clipboard, and then it would just go missing. And this keeps things together, and you can go back and see ideas from earlier, and bring elements forward, and or drop them and leave them behind or whatever. I like the sketchbook idea because you can visit past iterations of things. Bailey Woodworks, how you doing, my friend? I've used SketchUp as I can't draw. Yeah, but you can spreadsheet. Just watching and enjoying seeing your process, also petting Josh. Hi, Josh. Who's a good boy? Who is? Is it you? I design all my projects in Excel. It wouldn't surprise me. No, you design all your projects on paper, very crudely, and then you send them to your friend Mike. And you go, how would I go about connecting these two things together and like get this radius? And I go, well, you wouldn't. Did you ever get that thing done? Was it the curved entry hall table with the curved back that had to fit the radius of the staircase? I think you would have told me if you ever got that thing accomplished. We discussed that for quite some time about how you would go about doing that. Didn't you even get the walnut slab for that? Or did you use that walnut slab on the coffee station? And now you've only got half of that walnut slab left. So you can't do the entry table. Is Josh a dog? Yes. Yes. He's a big yellow floofy dog. Nope, it's still on the back burner. It's a bar top, not a table. It's not. Isn't it against the wall? Isn't that why you had to match the radius of the curve of the staircase? Because it was going against the wall? Don't you have to be able to stand behind a bar top for it to be a bar top? I'm confused. Maybe it doesn't. I think if something is a bar top, people have to be able to be on both sides of it. But it's like the cabinet, rack, rack, sideboard, buffet. What was the other one? It was sideboard, buffet, hutch. No, a hutch has to have a top part, I think. Credenza. That's what it was. Sideboard, buffet, and credenza. What are the differences between these things? A self-serve station. Sure. Well, it's just a table at that point. Like I said earlier. No, I said cabinet. There's not going to be anything underneath. I was sure it was a cabinet because it was good. That's why it had to radius the back, but not the front. Because the front was flat, so you could build the cabinet in and then just have the back resting on the... You sure that this isn't a cabinet? In my brain, it's a cabinet. Let's make it a cabinet. I knew someone who named their dog here, Kitty, or maybe it was just Kitty. I talked a friend into naming his dog Askem, Askem, so that when people said, "Hey, what's your dog's name?" he could say Askem, because I thought that was funny. I was hoping that somebody would be like, "Well, what's your dog's name?" And he would be Askem, and then the person would ask the dog his name. I'm not sure it ever happened. But yeah, I thought it was funny. Who's on first? Yeah, same kind of thing. Yeah. It's an imaginary cabinet, he says. It's the idea of a cabinet. It's the impression of a cabinet. What were we talking about when I was doing painting night or whatever? It was like, it's the concept, the idea. We're just trying to give the implication of flowers. There's an implication of a cabinet down underneath this walnut top. I like that. Oh, new Mike got old injury. Okay. Normally it's my lower back, right? And I have it's a long-standing old skiing accident injury from when I was a teenager. Today, old man Mike, we've got plugs, we've got receptacles above the workstations at the studio, and I'm the tall one, so I have to plug and unplug the stuff from there. And I was pulling out the hair dryer or whatever it was. It was an air compressor. Okay, we'll go to that after. Pulling out the plug for the air compressor, and you know how sometimes plugs like stick a little bit, and when you finish pulling them, they go boop, you know. So I'm up here like fully extended, and I pull, and it gets stuck, and then it gives, and I go, and like I did something to my shoulder. Because it's an awkward movement, and it like suddenly went too far back, and I've like got a twinge in my shoulder. Because when you get old, you injure yourself doing mundane things like that. Just so you know. Those of you who are not yet old. This is what you have to look forward to. Injuring yourself pulling a plug out of a receptacle. So airbrush. Not airbrush. So compressor. I had a kid's birthday party going on today. And one of the things that they were doing during the birthday party was learning, like playing with airbrushes. Airbrushes are neat. I can see getting into playing with airbrushes. You could do, I like just played with it for like 2 minutes to find out how it worked. And immediately my head started going about like the functionality of an airbrush. You could do a lot with an airbrush. If you got, I mean, obviously with anything, if you get good with it. But I feel like it would not be a huge learning curve to get relatively good with an airbrush. Because it's like how much paint comes out with how much air is coming out is like all just sort of one motion on the deal. And like, I think an airbrush and a little mini compressor might be like in my future. You know you're getting old when you hurt yourself unhooking a line or scratching your shoulder or washing between your toes. The first time I realized, like, okay, you're not young anymore, was when I threw out my back putting on socks, my friend. I just go down to put on my socks and my back twinged, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, and I was crumpled on the floor. Like, putting on socks, I like did something to my back and crumpled myself into a ball on the floor. Yeah. Or like shoulder checking. You're in traffic, you're driving along, and you're going to change lanes, so you shoulder check and you go, oh, like, Tim Yoder has done some cool videos with wood turning and airbrushing. Ooh. Tim Yoder. Turning / airbrush. Like that. You're officially old when you fall in public and people panic instead of laughing. It's true. You fall over in public and instead of laughing, people run to see if you're okay. Yeah, I guess that's. I slipped on a fold in my blanket. See, you have to laugh. Like, I laugh, but I know it's not funny. I had a messed up hip for 2 days because you slept on a fold in your blanket. Yeah, I totally understand it. Like, it's like, well, I slept wrong, so I guess I can't turn left today. Like, I'm an ambi-turner. Took me a second. I was like making movie quotes, and it took me a second to realize where that was from. I can't turn left. I'm not an ambi-turner. Oh, Waldrop's here. Look out. We already went through my sketchbook. You missed all the fun. I got some cool designs in that sketchbook. There's some things that I think are worth pursuing. Mostly wall cabinets. I don't know that there's any tables. Actually, the Unity hall table, I think, is worth pursuing. think that's worth making. I don't currently need a hall table or a sofa table because I already have one. Because there's a link in the description or in the chat room somewhere. Probably not. There isn't. There probably isn't. To me making a hall table, which I have, or sofa table, whatever. Didn't you make one of those hall tables already? I made this. I made this hall table. It was just a straightforward, like curved rail, tapered leg top. That's the hall table I made. But I think you're making a Unity style one with like a lifted top and the cutouts at the corners and the curvy legs. I think that is an attractive piece of furniture. Any crib plans? You got any in here? I do not have any crib plans. I have not needed a crib since I started woodworking. Nor have I known anyone who needed a crib since I started woodworking. Is that accurate? I don't know anyone who needed a crib since I started woodworking that I liked enough to make a crib for. My daughter wants it made of cherry. Well, she'll get it made of whatever the hell you have laying around. She should be less picky. She's getting a free crib. She'll get it out of hickory because that's what you got. I want it made of... Oh, you're going to make me a free crib? Oh, okay. Can you make it out of cherry? No, I'm going to make it out of whatever I feel like making it out of. You don't get to be picky. You getting a free crib? Have a ton of spalted hackberry. No. I was going to say, yeah, make it out of that. No, don't make it out of that. Don't you have like a bunch of slabs of hickory? Or is that just one big chunk of log? Maybe that still might be enough. I really, like, who gives a shit what it's made out of? The kid's gonna live in it for like a year. Not even, not even. I made a Maloof rocker instead of a crib. 7 years later, it's still in the living room in the crib. See? That's what I'm saying. Don't spend a ton of time and money making a crib. It's only gonna... The kid's never gonna appreciate it, first of all. And the kid's parents are only gonna appreciate it for like a year. You make one of those like convertible kinds that can go from crib to toddler bed. And then you get like a couple years out of it. 3, maybe. Not quite even. Spend your time and effort on more worthwhile projects than ones for very small children. Don't. The message of the day. Tip of the day. Don't bother making furniture for very, very small children because they won't use it long enough for it to be worth your time. You know, I stand by that. Go buy the IKEA thing. That's a lot of time and effort put into something that is only getting used for a very, very short period of time. But having said that, I put a lot of time and effort into a guitar that since I made it has only been actually used for about an hour. probably. In the 2 years since I made that guitar, does it have an hour of play? It probably doesn't have an hour of playtime on it. But the cello that I make will have even less time on it. Unless it somehow is awesome and it makes me want to learn. I already want to, but if it's awesome and it makes me learn how to play a cello, I'm never going to do that. I don't know why I keep saying it. Never going to actually do it. That made me sad to say that. Maybe I'll change my mind. I go back and forth. Figured the IKEA or KidCraft engineers spent enough time studying safety regulations. I'd be terrified to have my kid in a wooden prison I built myself. I wouldn't. I know that I know enough about structure of furniture that my kid it's not gonna collapse. But it's still a lot of time and effort to put into something that is not going to get used for that long. When you could spend $150 on something that is, I don't know. It's that balancing act, right? And if you like spending your time making stuff that is not going to get used for very long, that's cool. I have to turn off my notifications. Do not disturb. I am disturbed enough. I made that joke once. Not collapsing, but spacing so they don't get body parts stuck. Well, you just go to Toys R Us or whatever, and you go like, okay, that's right. Bring a tape measure. Just be like, come on. If you want to, now you're just making excuses. You don't need to make excuses, my friend. You can just say, I didn't fucking wanna. The IKEA engineers have done that. Well, yeah, but now the rest of us have access to that information. So I built a Maloof rocker. No, you didn't. You built a rocker inspired by Sam Maloof. You didn't build a Maloof rocker. Careful. It's like I didn't make Batman key racks. I made totally not a Batman key rack. I don't buy IKEA stuff. I don't like cheap particle board furniture. Yeah, but sometimes, didn't you buy one by accident? Sometimes you think you're buying a good stuff, and you ended up buying not a good stuff. Did you realize a headboard or trying to remember what you bought, and you were complaining because you're like, actually, it's just veneered garbage. Wifey did before we were married. Oh, a mahogany bed from Havarti's? Haverty's? I don't know what Haverty's is, but inspired by Mark Spagnuolo, who was inspired by Charles Brock, who has copied Sam Maloof. That's right. That's what you did. What you did is you built a curvy rocking chair. That's what you did. It just happens to be reminiscent of these other people's furniture. Vineyard Farmhouse is back. How are you, my friend? Why is everybody coming so late? Been going for an hour and a half already. and I had to restart. Because stupid YouTube is dumb and bad at its only purpose, which is to allow people to use it as a platform to create content to get across to other people. I just recovered from a bad backache today. Oh, you just missed the whole conversation about getting old and hurting yourself doing mundane things. Did you have a backache because you did a mundane thing? I hurt my shoulder quite badly, like pulling a plug out of a receptacle that was above my head, and just the movement of it giving, like you pull on it and then it gives, and I did blip like that, and I hurt my shoulder. And we talked about the first time I threw my back out putting on socks. Amy talked about having a hip problem from sleeping on a kink in her bed sheet or something. Yeah. Remember back when we were physically healthy. Working in the grapes for the last couple of weeks has worn it out. Oh, so you having a backache from actually doing hard work? You're no fun to talk to. We're supposed to be able to commiserate over like just hurting ourselves doing stupid regular life things. You're actually like doing hard work. Get out of there. Go on. Got to figure out roofing the next couple of weeks. Shed is at that stage. I did roofing for a summer in my late teen years. I do know a little bit about shingles and stuff. I dislocated my shoulder once answering the phone. See, this is the kind of stuff we're talking about. Farmhouse. That kind of shit. I hurt myself answering the phone. I threw my back out putting on socks. I just shoulder checked too quick, and now I can't turn left for a week. Like that's what we're talking about. Not like actual hard work. You're making us all feel bad. Then again, maybe if we actually like consistently did physical work, we wouldn't throw our backs out putting on socks. Who knows? Maybe I should have started with my left foot that day when I was putting my socks on. Get warmed up a little bit. Okay, I'll lie to you and say I bent over to clean up a broken egg and my back blew out. See, that's fine. It's just like, yeah, I dropped my pencil and I went to grab it and that's what I want to hear. I want to hear that you dropped your pencil and when you went to pick it up, you hurt yourself. That's what I want to hear. I think we might look at getting this one wrapped up. Unless people have other things they want to talk about, questions they want answered, random trivia things. I was trying to clean up the egg with a pencil. Well, I hear you. I hear you. Also, not the best implement. I don't think pencil is the right implement to clean up a broken egg. There are better implements. Let's put it that way. Spatula. A slotted spoon, I think. A slotted spoon would even be a better implement to pick up an egg than a pencil. There aren't very many things. A chopstick would be not as good as a pencil, but there aren't many things that would be worse than a pencil for picking up a broken egg. Make a better selection next time. Might not hurt your back. Now all this back pain talk has got me tightened up. Does anybody want to keep hanging out? Should we wrap it up and go on with our lives? These shows used to be the kind of standard, like an hour and a half. Back in my day. Wasn't that long ago that shows used to be an hour and a half. It wasn't that long ago that a 2-hour show was really long. That is not the case anymore. Maybe because you guys are like my only friends and like this is our only chance to hang out. That's not true. I have other friends. I have local friends. A couple of them I jam with on Monday nights, and that's been going really well. We're having lots of fun making music in the shop, in my buddy's shop. I'm gonna take a couple of pictures of well, I'll ask him first. But my buddy whose shop we jam in, he does mostly 3D printing in his shop. So it's not, I mean, it's a workspace. He makes things in there. He's got a couple of different kinds of 3D printers that he does things in there. And he has fun playing around with 3D printing, which is cool. It's not really my thing, but he likes it. It's been a good show, but I am in dire need of a shower. See, you say that all the time. Is it like the last time we talked about whether the show should keep going, and you were like, yeah, can we shut it down so that I can go shower? I was like, just go shower, yo. Bring us with you. Wasn't I like, hey, bring us with you? And you were like, I can't. You're on a 70-inch TV. You shower later. Josh don't care. Who are you trying to impress, really? Like, it's still really long. I just saw that. It's still really long. I used to do an hour and a half, maybe sometimes a little longer. Now I cut it off at an hour. I don't cut it off until people just stop participating. Or I stop wanting to participate. I base the length of the show on how long people in general feel like they want to participate. Whether it's me or everybody else. We'll call it when it ends. When it feels like nobody, including myself, has anything else to talk about, that's when it's time to wrap it up. I cut it off in an hour now because there's somebody else on after you. What? Oh. What? I don't understand. Are you on like a scheduled show with a bunch of other people? Oh, there's a whole Wednesday night lineup in the homesteading community. Oh, okay. So people come to you in this time slot and then they want to move on to the next person's time slot. That's cool. I would probably, if I had a time slot that somebody was waiting for me to be done. Are they waiting for you to be done, or do you just, if you keep going, everybody has left to go to the next person? Or do they have to like wait for you to be done so they can start? I have to get another vacuum pot. Mine has become too small not. You want to try again? Because I don't know what that means. To get another vacuum pot, mine has become too small not. Like your vacuum pot didn't change size. It didn't become too small. I don't understand how your vacuum pot could have gotten smaller. What you're saying is you want to put bigger things in your vacuum pot. You want to put things in your vacuum pot that it can't hold. So you need a bigger one. I think. You're trying to stabilize bigger things than your vacuum pot can hold. It's not that your vacuum pot has become too small. He's just making bigger projects. I know, but it's just the way that he said it. You've met me, right? Like, this is a thing that I'm going to point out. Your vacuum pot has not become too small. Pull too hard of a vacuum and it just like collapsed in on itself. Like Ocean Gate. What was it called? The thing that killed the billionaire? The homemade submarine? That's what his pressure pot did. Every time you use a vacuum pot, it gets a little bit smaller. It's just the etiquette we have. 1 hour and then pass it on to the next one in the lineup. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I used to be the last one, so you could go for as long as you want. Oh yeah, I think if I was in a lineup like that, like if there was like a woodworking lineup of like you get an hour, you get an hour, you get an hour, I'd be like, can I go last? Because I don't know. I don't know if I could just do an hour anymore. I ramble. We talk about a lot of nonsense. And that's how I like it. Like even on nights where I do a project, like I could turn a pen in like not very much time. But then I would want to sit and just talk and hang out with my friends. I would want to go last. Because a multicolored burl stabilized bowl would be cool. You're right. You're right, it would be cool. Paul stabilized another batch of really attractive things this week. Was it a batch or was it just the one thing that you sent me the picture of? Box Elder Burl again. Very, very attractive piece of wood. I think it would be hard to do an hour if you're trying to accomplish a project. Well, like I said, I could crush out a small bowl or a pen or a bottle stopper or something in not very much time, but I would want to hang out with my friends. I think we figured out that you turn a pen in less than 7 minutes. I have absolutely turned and finished and assembled a pen in less than 7 minutes. This is a true story. One more beer and we'll shut her down. Sometimes I say that a couple of times, but we'll see. One more beer. Tim, I'm actually looking forward to watching Tim Yoder and his turning / airbrush video. Is it stupid cool? Like, am I gonna be like, never mind, I don't want to try this because he's already doing it the best? Like when you watch really good musicians and you'd be like, I don't want to make music anymore. Because why? Oh, guess who else? Guess what else I figured out? Remember how I thought I had 2 weeks from my last class to get my Wolverine jig set up for bowl turning class? Turns out that class isn't until October 15th. I get a bonus week. I get a bonus week to set up my Wolverine jig for turning class. I do need to get another bowl gouge though. And I was down at my wood turning store and they don't have the bowl gouge that I want to buy. So might have to order a Lee Valley guy. You still have 2 weeks, right? Did you ever get the Beaver truck working? Nope. And nor have I found the time to send them the stupid 20-second video that they want of what the problem is. I'm not going to try to get it working. Like the one that they sent me is garbage. And I want them to either give me my money back or send me one that isn't. But in order for me to get that accomplished, I need to send them like a few second video explaining what the problem is so that they can tell me whether or not I'm allowed to return it. Honestly, I just don't want to go through the hassle. I want to just write it off as a mistake and just like put out the video that says, don't buy shit from these idiots. Like, it sucks. It's garbage. Don't buy anything from them. But I should give them the opportunity to make it right, even if it's a hassle for me to give them the opportunity to make it right. Beaver emailed him back, but Mike's waiting to record himself opening the email. That one wasn't too bad. That was pretty good. That was pretty good, actually. Put out the video and send them the link. No, they literally even said that they like the link is like I need to upload them a short video of the problem. Like they can't accept links to videos and things. I have to upload it to either retransfer or like it's just like you can't just trust me and say like, well, send it back and we'll have a look at it and then determine whether or not to give you your money. Like there's lots of ways you can do this as a company. Oh, you send us it back and we will send you a new one and then we'll decide whether or not, like, there's lots of ways you could, and you make shitty garbage. Like, I know that you make shitty garbage. So shouldn't you be expecting a certain number of these things to just be like write-offs and we're going to have to supply them a second one or whatever? Like, you think like everybody is just ordering one and then trying to get you to give them a free one? Like, I'll give you your garbage one back. How about this? You send me a new one, and if you don't get the old one back, you charge me again. Like, you have my information. You now get to sell me too. I don't know. There's lots of ways we could go about this other than like, can you please record a short clip video of what the problem is? after I got it all reboxed up and ready to get sent back, I got to unbox it again and take a video of what the problem is. I almost bought a Viver pressure washer, but your review of the Chuck made me opt for a different brand. Good. I was joking with Pinnell. He ordered Viver forks for his tractor. And I was like, okay, but just so you know, the weight limit on those is probably about 14 pounds. So don't try to lift anything heavy with them bad boys. Are you going to risk bowl turning on the blue lathe? I don't know. It's a very good question. I don't know. I think I'm going to bring it. What'll probably happen is I'll bring it for the first class. I'm only doing 3 people per bowl turning class instead of 4 for pen turning. So I'll bring them both for the first class, and I'll try to do the demo on the blue one. And if I can't, or I recognize that it's sketchy, I'll be like, okay, this is going back in the truck. We're all going to be working on this guy today, and we're going to have to wait our turn. Because we're only doing little 6 guys. The bowl turning class, and I just actually got the blanks. We're going to do 6x2s. Cherry. And I want to say it can do it if it's clamped down to the table. It can do it. I don't know if I want beginners on that lathe doing a 6-inch bowl, because it might make them not want to continue. They might be like, well, no, never mind. I don't like this. So there's that balancing act too, right? We'll see. Bought some blue tortoise guitar binding the other day. And it's way too small. 2 millimeters instead of 6 or 7? Yeah, that's... I asked for a refund, and they want to charge me 70% of the cost to do a refund. And so you don't order from those guys again. Almost went to the Viver website just to browse their products, but after your review, I changed my mind and decided I don't want to turn things. You took it too far. You skipped a step. You had me right up until now I don't want to turn anything. I still, maybe I got a bunk one, and maybe it'll get made right. Maybe it's a quality, obviously it's a quality control problem. Maybe they're all shit, or maybe just lots of them are shit. Or maybe just some of them are shit. And I got one of the ones that is shit. I don't know that they're not. I don't know that they're all shit, and I don't know that they are all not. You know what I mean? I cannot make a definitive recommendation one way or the other. But based on my experience, I don't think that I would risk it at this point. But maybe even if 1 out of 10 of what they made was decent, and the return process was easier to go and just oh, I got a bad one. Oh, I got a bad one. Oh, yay! I got the good one. even if that was the case, I don't think, like, the ratio would have to be much higher for it to be worth going through the effort. Or like maybe one in. It's kind of like how people feel about grizzly. Because people talk about the grizzly quality control problem, but I think it's like more like 1 in 10 the other way. Like a tenth of you are gonna get a bunk one, but we're gonna make it right, like immediately, from what I understand. In which case, it's a no-brainer to go with grizzly and save a bunch of money. If you need to save money. If you don't need to save money, just buy the good shit in the first place. If you need to save money, you take your chances about quality control and customer service and return policies. It is what it is. Live and learn. Move forward. Don't let the guy that stole the $10 wreck your $500,000 or whatever it was. Way back at the beginning of the show. Like if you had $525,000, somebody stole 10 of it, would you just burn the rest of your money? No, you wouldn't. So don't let somebody who wrecks 10 minutes of your day wreck the rest of your day. I bought a miter gauge. Yep. Had a hiccup in the matrix. I bought a miter gauge from Grizzly. Had to wait for it to get in stock. It was missing parts when I got it. I was able to fix it with parts from a junk gauge, but they still gave you a refund. That's proper customer service. That sounds like perfectly good customer service to me. You're not happy? Here, have your money back. We don't even want the thing back that you're not happy with, because what are we going to do with it? And they're just, decent businesses just work it into their price of doing business, knowing that some of what they sell is where they're going to have to give back their money or whatever. Like, I love my Grizzly jointer. Didn't you get essentially the benchtop guide that I have? The 8-inch benchtop probably comes out of the same factory jointer. That mine's King Industrial, but like Wahuda and Q-Tech and Grizzly and everybody else makes that same thing. And they're probably coming off the same line and just getting painted different. It's only a 6-inch, so it's probably the 6-inch version of that same like benchtop dealy thing. Same factory. Okay, yeah, it's good. It's good. I'm still happy with mine. I don't use it as much as I want to because it's covered in. What we got? I got a circular saw up here. I got a piece of mesquite from my friend Paul. I got some swords on here. Got a push block. Got a router over here sitting on. My jointer is not accessible, but it can be very quickly. I could get all that stuff off of there and and be using it pretty quickly. And I will have to if I do any of these wall cabinets in here. What should I do? Looking back at the wall cabinets, there was one that I was like, ooh, I kind of like this. Let's see if I can find it. There was absolutely a wall cabinet in here that I was like, I like a lot of what's going on here. used to use my router table for jointing. It was a pain to set up, but it worked fine. I imagine it would have been a pain to set up. But yeah, you can joint anything that's going to give you a 90-degree consistent edge. Isn't one of those, even though these are all super pretty. These are all very pretty pieces of furniture. I don't think it was any of those. Where was it? Was it one of the ones that are a wall cabinet and a shelf? Oh, I think it was this one? And then maybe with that inlay with the branch with the leaves coming off of it going across the panels. Kind of like, I think it might have been that one. That's gonna be a lot of work. It's gonna be a lot of work. But this guy is cool too, though. That one's cool. With the cubbies. It's also a lot of work. That's cool. Yeah, I don't know. There are some good design ideas in there that I can explore further. Anyway, I said that was one more beer. We're gonna call it there. That's the end of the night. We're almost 2 hours. That's lots. Chalice. Big ass chalice. Elm. Nice straight grain piece of elm. Goblet Viking chalice thing, maybe. Anyway, whatever that's gonna turn into is a cool thing. This could be a chalice or a vase. Yeah, would make a small vase. I already have wood picked out for a fancy vase, though. Maybe this should be like the practice vase for the good one that I'm gonna make Nara and spalted maple and walnut. That's a thought. Maybe do a practice one out of block of elm first before you launch into a whole glue up lamination of wood. And it's a good thought. Maybe a vase. Anyway, stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe, everybody. Thanks for coming. We'll see what next week looks like. Saturday is always... I wish I had the energy after work on Saturday to keep working. Because I would like to go back to making stuff on this show. I just don't have it in me most weeks to keep being on my feet. After being on my feet for 3 days on concrete, I just, most of the time, as soon as I'm done on Saturday, I'm like, get off your feet. Anyway, bye for now. Amy's going to go have a shower because she stinks. Like seafood restaurant. And everybody else can go about the rest of your day. Bye for now. Thanks for watching.